Hi guys, so those of us who oppose Brexit have been tearing our hair out since before the referendum and after over the issue of Northern Ireland. We said that peace in Northern Ireland would be affected if the UK left the European Union. The response from Brexiteers, Boris Johnson, Michael Gove, David Frost recently, and the DUP in Northern Ireland was stop scaremongering, stop engaging in Project Fear, stop trying to stop Brexit, stop undermining the will of the people. Now, we are of course proven right. David Frost himself is admitting that, well, there were unanticipated consequences of Brexit, or at least the protocol. Now, you're going to hear from Lucy Frazer, who's the Solicitor General for England and Wales, respond to this. Now, it's important to remember that Boris Johnson instructed his party to limit the government's ability to extend the transition period. If they had extended the transition period, they could have put in place measures to deal with the consequences of Brexit in Northern Ireland. They voted against that. They voted against scrutinising the withdrawal agreement, otherwise known as Boris Johnson's oven-ready deal. None of this took place. We suggested it should have taken place, and we were ridiculed for that. Well, let's hear what she had to say.
As far as President Biden is concerned, he's coming down to the G7 in Cornwall on Friday, Saturday. He has said that unless the deal for Northern Ireland, as far as Brexit is concerned, is sorted out, it's an absolute mess at the moment. In fact, we heard from the Brexit minister saying that the government underestimated the effects of the Northern Ireland Protocol on goods movements, that there will not be a deal between the US and the UK on trade. How could you not have seen this coming? You were warned by 3 former prime ministers, and indeed George Mitchell, who put together the Northern Ireland Agreement, and the CBI as well. They all said, this is going to be a problem. Only now is the Brexit minister saying, looks like it's a bit of a problem. And the American president is saying, get it sorted.
Well, Lord Frost is absolutely trying to get it sorted, and he was in Ireland last week doing exactly that.
He wasn't in Northern Ireland doing exactly that. He was in Northern Ireland to speak with members of the loyalist community, the ones who actually want to do away with the protocol. Why was he meeting with them and not meeting with, for example, the Alliance Party, Sinn Féin and others, the SDLP, and business leaders who actually want to work within the framework of the protocol? Why is he listening to people who want to tear up the protocol and have no actual alternative to it? Remember, the DUP and members of the loyalist community want to tear up the protocol. They've been asked, what is your alternative? And they have provided absolutely nothing. They're planning to take the UK government to court in order to stop the protocol, but they actually haven't an alternative to it. So Lord Frost was not in Northern Ireland last week to sort out this problem. He was in Northern Ireland partly to meet with loyalists and listen to their quote-unquote concerns.
It is very difficult on the ground in terms of trade, it is important that we ensure that we do have trade between the UK and Ireland, between England and Ireland, and it is really important that we saw that, and Lord Frost is doing exactly that.
But you understand that it does look as though you underestimated the complexities of this agreement.
Well, as it has panned out on the ground, it is more difficult than we anticipated.
It is more difficult than we anticipated. How many times have we said this? How many times have people who've been opposed to Brexit said it's going to be more difficult than you will anticipate? It's not going to be easy. And the response, of course, one from Boris Johnson and others was, stop trying to stop Brexit. Stop engaging in Project Fear. Well, Project Fear has become Project Reality.
And we do need to sort out that trade arrangement, and that is what Lord Frost is doing.
So you weren't really listening when 3 former Prime Ministers, George Mitchell and the CBI, amongst others, were saying this isn't going to work.
I think we've listened the whole way through, but we...
We listened? No, you did not. You did not listen the whole way through. You dismissed it as Project Fear. I don't know Lucy's personal position on this. But the UK government refused to engage with the problems of Brexit. Anytime an issue was brought up about Brexit, it was stop engaging in Project Fear. The people have decided. 17.4 million people voted for Brexit. We have to respect the vote. Any issue that was brought up, stop engaging in Project Fear. Stop scaremongering. It will be sorted out. It has been sorted out. There's nothing to worry about. Michael Gove said that the government was ready, that businesses had to be prepared for Brexit. Now we're seeing the consequences of that lie.
We have untangling our relationship with Europe, which we had for over 40 years, was obviously going to be difficult.
It was an oven-ready deal.
I love her response. It was an oven-ready deal. She's like, yeah, I know. It was a pile of crap. The oven-ready deal seems to have some mould on it. And finally, Lord Frost has realised that there's mould on the oven-ready deal. That there are parts of the deal that he didn't understand. Or he pretended not to understand. Like, this is my problem with Lord Frost. He was the chief negotiator. He signed it. He handed it over to Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson claims to have read it and sold it to the British public as a deal. It wasn't a deal, it was more the withdrawal agreement, but anyway, that was sold to the public. Lord Frost was in charge. Now Lord Frost is saying, well, there are parts of it we didn't understand or we didn't anticipate. Now, that's understandable if you didn't have enough time. You decided not to have enough time. You could have extended the transition period, as we said before, and worked through these issues during the transition period. But you decided not to do that. You decided to lie to the public and tell them this oven-ready deal is done and dusted and we won't need to talk about Brexit anymore. And that was an actual policy within Number 10, to instruct government not to talk about Brexit. Isn't it amazing how Boris Johnson used Brexit to win an 80-seat majority, and then as soon as he had his majority, he wanted to jettison Brexit completely?
It was always going to be difficult, and no one underestimated the problems in relation to that, and we need to sort them out.
We need to sort them out. Now, someone actually did point out the problems of Brexit back in 2016, former Prime Minister John Major.
And I say, without a shadow of doubt in my mind, that the wrong outcome on June the 23rd will affect our union and will jeopardise that unity. Because the plain, uncomfortable truth is that the unity of the United Kingdom itself is on the ballot paper in 2 weeks' time. We met the families of the victims. So I believe that it would be an historic mistake to do anything that has any risk of destabilising the complicated and multi-layered constitutional settlement that underpins the present stability in Northern Ireland.
There we have it. The situation in Northern Ireland is complicated. The response from Brexiteers is, it's simple. Stop making it more complicated than it is. People who had no understanding of peace in Northern Ireland said everything will be fine. People who did and do have an understanding of peace in Northern Ireland said, no, it will not be. And unfortunately, people like John Major, Tony Blair, George Mitchell, the European Union, the Irish government were sidelined. The British government preferred to listen to Brexiteers like Jacob Rees-Mogg instead of actually listening to people who understand the situation. And now we're seeing the consequences. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?